Shalom. I'm Rabbi Ann White, and it's my privilege and blessing to be here with you today to tell you my story, the one that is going to be published in the book Pebbles in the Pond. It's a transformational collection, an anthology of inspiring and uplifting stories, and I'm proud to be part of this. The book will be launched globally on May 20th, 2012. My story is called You Can't Make an Omelete Without Breaking the Egg. And in my story, I talk about the sexual and emotional abuse I had as a child. I normally don't talk about this, but I do because I want people to know that even when we're broken, or especially when we're broken, we have the opportunity to create wholeness. So let me share my story with you. Each night, I walk into the trauma unit of our busy hospital, and I'm amid blood and other bodily fluids, broken bodies, shattered dreams, prayers for the dying and for the living and for miracles. I work as a trauma chaplain. And as I sit with those who are devastated by the sudden losses, I sometimes recall my own earlier brokenness as I merge my spirit with theirs to soothe and provide solace. We're all broken in one way or another. The planet is broken. The universe explodes frequently in chaos, only to form new creation. Chaos and creation are part of our universal rhythm. You can't make an omelet, after all, without breaking the egg. Let me share the breaking of my egg. 10 years after my mother died of hypochondria, my father told me that he was not really my father. From that point on, the life that I thought was mine disintegrated like burning paper, with memories floating away like ashes in the wind. I never really liked my father, and I guess since he always knew the secret, he never really liked me very much either. So in some sense, it was a relief to know that I was not biologically connected to the man who had abused me until I was old enough to keep out of the house at about age 14. My mother knew about the abuse, and I always wondered why she never protected me or tried to stop it. I guess because of the secret. She felt it was his prerogative to take his anger out on me. It was either me or her, and she chose me. I've come to believe that most families are dysfunctional, so I don't claim any special award for the dysfunction of my own. My mom did some mom things, she sure did. We made fudge together, we played hearts, we would cut out paper dolls out of newspaper. But she was never able to guide me teach me the positive things of the world, and obviously neither was my father. When I was in my early 20s, my life came crashing down all around me. I came to a crossroad. I felt I could either live or die, and at that point I was very close to choosing my own death. I told myself that if I allowed myself to live, it had to be a rich and full and vibrant life, not just an existence. And I knew right then and there that I had to nurture and teach myself, since no one else would. I had to create my life as though I were making a work of art, or a mighty fine omelet. So let me share with you the making. What I discovered when I went to create this luscious life was that it all boiled down to the concept of one. And this is how I also understand the trauma and the trauma of my job as a trauma chaplain. We are all part of a great oneness. And let me explain, because there's a lot of little ones that merge into this great one. I came to believe in a power greater than myself, a power greater than all of us, greater than everything, and a power that embodies everything. Call this power God or spirit or energy, source, even call it Bob. Its name doesn't make any difference. Just know that it is, and that it has a rhythm and a flow, and an order and a goodness. All of life flows from this energetic field of the source. When we get disconnected from this source, we feel alienated and alone. Evil and meanness are offshoots, and they are a product of a disconnection from this source. We come to earth in earth bodies from this source. And what makes us unique and gives us personality is our spirit and our energy. And this too is derived from the source. We come to earth to learn lessons and to teach them, for reasons and for seasons. And when our work is complete, and our lessons are either learned or taught, our earth bodies wear out, and it is time for our spirit or our energy to return back to the source. And this is how I explain death of a loved one to a mourner. Their lessons were finished. It was time for them to go home. Actually, during our earthly lives, we should attempt to remain in a connected state with this flow. Alienation, depression, greed, corruption, and the like happen when we become disconnected. Many religions acknowledge this great oneness. In the Jewish tradition, the main prayer is called the Shema, and it ends with, "The Lord is one." Many say that this prayer is a statement of monotheism, but surely the early Hebrews would have known how to say, "There is only one God." In my way of thinking, by saying, "The Lord is one," they are telling us that everything has an interconnection with this oneness. It is from this prayer that I came to my belief about the non-duality of the universe. It is not us versus God or God versus humans. God is within us, and we are part of the Godness. It is all one. It's a very simple philosophy, and yet when you truly feel it, you understand how powerful it is, and you understand the meaning of life. There's a Sanskrit prayer called Namaste, and it teaches us one way to practice this belief. It means that the divine within me recognizes and salutes that beautiful divine within you. What if every person on this planet understood and practiced this? Can you imagine the power of love and respect that would lift us up and encircle the planet? If we are all one and created out of the same stuff, why do we hate? How can we even hate ourselves if we come from this glorious source of energy? If we find ourselves disconnected, alienated, alone, or even just a little grumpy, what are we to do? How are we to get reconnected to this divine flow? The first thing we must do is make atonement. Not atonement for our sins, and both of those are loaded words, but atonement for being disconnected from the source. Follow me for just a minute on this. I think the only sin we have is not to realize the power and the grandeur of this interconnectedness, and to not value its life-giving and sustaining energy. When I think of atonement, I think of it as at-one-ment. At-one-ment. We must become at one again, and that's how we atone. We become at one again. Imagine that some of you are probably thinking, "Oh, sure, this is easier said than done." And I agree with you. But it is also something we have the power to do if we practice. And we practice it until it becomes a part of our nature. Let me share with you some of my practice tips for when I find myself disconnected from this divine source. 1, I step outside. Certainly God is everywhere, but sometimes we forget. Stepping out into nature is one sure way to get God-smacked into seeing the incredible beauty and power of the divine. Even if I find myself in a concrete jungle, I look for life. I may see a bird fly by, or I may see a tiny flower or a weed poking its head through the asphalt. Isn't that a willingness to live, that urge to just feel the sun? I connect with life, I breathe it in, and when we do this, we know too that we have that beauty and the power and the strength that is God-given or as part of the energy source. 2, the biggest reconnector for me, because I'm painfully shy, is to greet every person I meet during the day. Surely many will walk right past me, but I connect with enough people to bring me back to connection with the source. And I hope that by connecting with them, I help them to see their value and their beauty and their own connection with the source. 3, spend time with animals. Adopt a rescue pet. Look into their eyes and know that you are connected. Let them teach you how to love unconditionally. 4, listen. Listen to the quiet. Listen to the sounds of nature. Listen to that still small voice within. Listen. Truly listen when someone is speaking to you. 5, sit in meditation or prayer and breathe in divine energy or spirit. Let it fill your soul. 6. Look at challenges, obstacles, and heartbreaks as your teachers. Learn from them and find the silver lining in every cloud. 7. Do random acts of kindness. I actually tithe to the planet. I set aside about 10% of my income, and instead of giving it to a house of worship, I return it to the source. I see far more benefit for myself in doing it this way than I ever did with traditional tithing. I will randomly give my co-workers a gift card for a cup of coffee just to brighten their day. I'll donate to animal rescues that preserve life rather than take it. Maybe bake a treat and take it into the office. Bring flowers to a neighbor or someone who doesn't get out very much. Hand out money or flowers or coffee or gift cards to homeless. Each small gesture we do each day helps us to stay connected. And I promise you, by doing them, we re-energize our own happiness. And lastly, practice the smaller ones, such as one breath, one moment, one day. Live in the moment. Know that every breath we take is a gift. Every sunrise we see, a blessing. This is surely one of the lessons I've learned in the trauma unit. Every breath a gift, every sunrise a blessing. Never waste your time or become complacent. Practice goodness and godness, living in the one. One breath, one act of kindness, one hug, one love, one world. To do this we attain inner peace and outer peace. Use the healing of your own brokenness to connect to the source, making not the perfect omelette, but also an awesome, wonderful life. And I share this with you. Namaste. And if you would like to read this or other inspirational writings from 40 people across the globe, check out pebblesandthepondthebook.com and be on the lookout for this. It's beautiful. Again, namaste and shalom.